Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Bryce Miller. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey, it's good to be back. It feels like a while since we last talked, but excited to be here and as a KDP finalist.
It was not a while. We just talked a few days ago. Um, okay. So as Bryce just said, he is one of the Kulwicki Driver Development Program finalists. We announced those last week. Yes, I said we because I work for the program. But Bryce, what have the past few days been like for you?
Man, it's been pretty surreal just going through the process and just my phone blew up on Friday and it was really hard to get any work done. But just because so many people reached out and just said congratulations and it just really shows what this program means to all around the country, but especially in Wisconsin. There's been a lot of big names that have gone on to do big things that have been part of this program from Wisconsin. So it was cool to see all the people reached out and kind of soaked that up for a little bit, but it's been a busy week just kind of in the shop, getting everything done, putting engines in, front suspension, doing all that. So it never ends. And first race on May 4th for the Joe Shea Classic will be coming pretty soon here.
Absolutely, up at Madison. That's going to be exciting. We got to know you last time. You're 25 years old and all that fun stuff. What were you doing when you found out that you were going to be a finalist?
I was actually taking a delivery. I just got a new customer and by a nearby city. And I was driving. I always try to make the first deliveries I try to do myself just to kind of meet the people and just get to know them a little bit better. So I was actually taking delivery out to a customer and I got the call. So it was pretty crazy. I had to pull over and make sure that I didn't lose reception or anything like that. So, but it was pretty cool and I wasn't expecting it. I thought I had a good shot at getting in, but wasn't for sure. And as late as it went into on Friday, because it was about a minute before the announcement went out, I was still sweating it out. So it was pretty, just a big relief to get in. So
Yeah. So when you found out that you were going to be in, the tradition continues is we have had the program has had a driver from Wisconsin every single year since 2015 when Majeski won the inaugural Kulwicki Cup, and the tons and tons of drivers that have been through here. You got Prunty and Luke Fenhouse, and with Levon Vandergeest and Riley Stenjum, and all these people that you know very very well. What was it like to continue the tradition of Wisconsin drivers being in this program? And I'm sure that a lot of the names I just named off are a lot of your friends.
yeah, for sure. I grew up racing with a lot of them and kind of felt like the kid at the end of the bench for a while because I went and watched them go through the program and just kind of waited for my opportunity. And this year it finally came and just looking to make the most of it. But like you said, this is a very big deal for the state of Wisconsin as they've had a member through all those whole years. So just hoping to make them proud this year and just looking forward to getting going with the race season and once it's here, it's going to be game on for the entire season. So,
Yeah, we'll get to racing in a minute, but I know that you've looked at this program, you've wanted to apply for so long, but this was actually if I'm not mistaken, the first year that you applied. But you wanted to make sure that you had everything set and ready to go so that you could apply for the program. And so kind of go into that thought process a little bit.
yeah, for sure. I'm the oldest. Um, I'm the oldest in the program at 25 years old, which doesn't seem that old. But last year was my very first year in the super late model ranks, and like you said, it just kind of took me a while to kind of build up my race team. We're fully funded by sponsorship, and so it wasn't like we could just go buy a super late. We had to do there's a lot of steps to get to this point, and we've bought or we've built a lot of race cars throughout the years, um, and then sold them to kind of help build up to this point. But it's been a lot of hard work, and finally, the right opportunity came along to get a super late model, and we made the most of it last year, and just really looking forward to kind of using what we learned last year to go into this year. And I'm excited for the way we ended last year. We were really built up a lot of momentum, and just hoping to continue that throughout the year. But yeah, like you said, this was not an overnight thing. It wasn't like I just woke up one day and wanted to apply. So just yeah, a lot of steps were before this, and finally it just all came together, and was able to get in the program. And yeah, it was this was my very first year to apply, and I got in. So really thankful for that.
So, over the year, I know this because the program had all these, I mean, you saw last week of who the program got to interview these guys, and what was it like to get interviewed by somebody that knows racing pretty well?
Yeah, Lance is a really good guy, and I've known and watched his interviews for a long time. And he's the Packers reporter in the Milwaukee station. I've watched a bunch of interviews with Matt Kenseth that he's done, as they're pretty close friends. So just getting to see or just getting to talk to him and get to know him personally was pretty cool. And as you mentioned, all the other finalists, they had pretty remarkable people talk to them as well. So it just shows what this program means to the racing community, and what Alan, the impact he left on the racing community as well.
And I want to also thank Lance Allen for doing that interview last week. Um, so, of course, the sports director at CBS 58 in Milwaukee. So let's talk about racing. What do you like about racing? What got you into it?
Yeah, there's what's not to like about racing, right? This is this is all I've known. Like I mentioned, a couple other podcasts and interviews that I grew up in it. Like my grandpa raced back in the day, and he kind of did the enduro stuff, and it wasn't really nearly as big back then. And then my uncle and my dad both got into racing pretty heavily, racing street stock, sportsmen, and late models, all when I was growing up. So this is the only life I've ever known, and it's a lot of work, and just really thankful to connections and the community the racing has around it, and get to speak to with people like yourself, and really get to. This is what is great about the program, is you get to expose yourself to a lot bigger audience, and so racing just means a lot, and yeah, like I said, just all I've ever known.
Yeah. So I've learned a lot about the Midwest Tour because I got to watch a lot of the races last year. I mean, we had a lot of guys in that tour. So what is that like? I got to watch, and it is some of the best racing that I have seen. I was tuned in every week. I know sometimes the same guy won every week, but you never know with these races. You never know what's going to happen. So, what is racing up in the Midwest like?
Man, it's tough, especially when you get into the ASA Midwest Tour. Those are the best guys in the Midwest, and there's no slouches in the entire field. And I think what makes it so cool is the ASA Midwest Tour does such a good job of honoring the history and the people that were before us. Like we started our season at the Joe Shear Classic, and obviously Joe Shear was an iconic name in the short track ranks. And then we just kind of they carry on the legacy of all these different races, and the Dixieland 250, the Oktoberfest 200, the Larry Degents, the Jim Sauter Classic, the Miller 100 at Hawkeye. There's just all these people that were before our time, and it's just cool to carry on that tradition. But like you said, it's the best of the best, and you better be on your game, because you'll get exposed real quick if you're off just a little bit. So the nice thing is, though, like with the experience I had last year, we really started to show our stride towards the end of the year, and we ran of the three ARCA Midwest or ASA Midwest Tour races I ran. I finished two of those in the top 10, just outside of the top five, and the one we were running in the top five before we had a mechanical failure. So we showed that we can compete in those races, and just excited to go out and prove that this year.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for 2025?
Yeah, where to begin, because it's going to be a busy year, especially after getting into the program. For sure, we're going to focus on the ASA Midwest Tour, and then we're going to dabble with a lot of different super late model races across the state. We're going to run the Refner race like we did last year, the Refner 88 at La Crosse, Live for Five races, the National Short Track Championship, and then just kind of fill in the schedule as needed. We plan to make a trip to Slinger too, and hoping to get some funding to run the Slinger Nationals, but just kind of depends on sponsorship. We're not a huge team by any means, but we just have to really focus on where we're putting our funds and all that. So it's going to be a busy year, and then yeah, we'll just kind of see where it takes us. But for sure, the ASA Midwest Tour, we're going to run the full schedule with that.
So, I know with the you're very familiar with how this program works, and you know that the racing side is only just one part of it. But there's also other parts of the program you may not know. It's the social media, building up your profiles. So who knows what could happen in your career? And then there's also the charitable part too. And I know you have got some big plans on that end as well.
Yeah, we're busy planning and my phone's ringing all the time and I'm calling all the time just after I got announced to just start to schedule this kind of stuff. But we got a lot of different plans and a lot of them to be announced yet, but we're gonna have a big fundraiser for the Badger Honor Flight at a couple different events and we're gonna do some stuff with the Special Olympics and with some more to be announced yet. So there's a lot of stuff going on and it's just a really busy time of year, and it's all really exciting stuff too. So just looking forward to getting ahead to the season, and yeah, we're excited.
What does it mean to be a Kulwicki Driver Development Program finalist?
Man, it means so much. Like I mentioned earlier on the podcast, just I went and watched a lot of my friends go and be part of this program. So I know what it means just as a whole in the program, and so I'm very familiar with it. But it's cool to finally get our chance. But it just means a lot because Alan was such a prominent racer and just really one of a kind. He did everything his way, Alan's way, and just what he did back in 1992 was just unthinkable. So. It's just such a remarkable thing to look up to, and just I model a lot of what we do today around what he did. So I pride myself on working on my own cars and doing all my social media, managing the checkbook, managing the people that help us. So there's just a lot going on, but I feel like we're doing a lot like Alan did back in the day.
Well, Bryce, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, and we will look forward to talking with you later in the year.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it so much, Casey. And yeah, like you said, you can follow me along on Bryce Miller Motorsports on Facebook, and we have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. So really looking forward to it, and stay tuned.